Am I the jerk for doing my job? For some context, I am a 20-year-old man, and I have an old Jeep about 40 years old. It is import for the story. One day I was helping the golf place near where I live. About 12 p.m., I was helping some other golfers and bingers, until I heard a car alarm in the car parking lot. So I went to see what was going on, to see someone had taken my Jeep. Good thing I had a patrol car, and I caught up to them. I had told the police, and they took them. So I went back to the golf place, and as I was going back to helping people, a little kid came up to me and said, "Give me your phone." And I said, "This is my SPSL phone. It tells me everything about the park." He did not like that I hold not give him my phone, and so went storming away to his mom. 5 minutes later, a woman, let's call her Barbara, came up to me and started yelling at me and said, "Give my son your phone." And then I said, "This is mine and for the park." So they went to the manager and called me over. Apparently I was yelling at others and being mean. And then I sighed, "This is simply not right. I did no such thing." So we went to the camera room and looked at the video from the past 30 minutes and they were banned for life. But now I am worded, did I go too far? Maybe I have to stop playing Roblox AITA for yelling at this player after he has wasted everyone's time and is doing things in spite of what staff are telling him. Well, another story about a toxic person. What can do wrong? I kind of feel like I am the jerk here. Anyways, on with the story. So I was playing Risk like I normally do. Now, Do Mind Risk is a great game, but there can be toxic players at times. It is also a game in this developer's platform called Roblox. Risk is basically like HOI 4. You role-play a nation diplomatically and can go to war and into alternative history, but you have a physical Roblox body, so you kind of walk around. If you want more info, search it on Roblox, or in the search bar, you'll probably find the game. Everything is going well. I'm role-playing Albania, and you know nothing bad is happening until Serbia. Now, the role players of Austria, which is bigger in this alt server, Hungary, which is also huge, Bulgaria, and me, as well as some others I can't remember, all coalition against the Serbian role player and declare war on him. Just a little detour from the story, but in order to understand some of the next things in this game, you gotta know about the dice. Dice is used for things like government decisions, polls, and battles. The battle dice allows you to put bonuses and stuff on it which help your dice rolls. If you get a stalemate, the attacker gets a -1, or the defender can get a +1 since it equates the same. If the attacker wins a roll, they get to use the paint tool to paint another nation's land. If the defender wins a roll, they can counter. Now, before there wasn't a momentum rule, but now during the time of this story there is. So if an attacker wins, they can roll again until they lose. If an attacker wins by a minor roll, they can take up to 5 pixels of land and get no bonus. If the attacker gets a moderate, they can take up to 10 pixels and get no bonus. If the player gets a major, they can take up to 16 pixels and get a +1 bonus for their next roll only. If an attacker gets a decisive roll, they get a +2 for their next roll only. Do note that this game has staff, which cannot be helpful at times, that can give bonuses. The ranks are PA, Trial Mod, Senior Mod, Admin, and then Developers and Owner. Now the Serbia player, instead of rolling with everyone who was given a perm +2 bonus against him, he decides to literally go AFK for a whole hour and stall. We ask the SM, Senior Mod, for help, and he gives us a +4 against Serbia. Still, Serbia is AFK eating lunch or something, and arguing with the SM in the Discord server channel, Riscussions. We ask an admin for help, to which he tries to solve the situation, and eventually allows us to use AI roll if Serbia stalls more. After that, admin said that I can be a temp Serbia and roll on the Serbia player's behalf. Finally, the Serbia player isn't stalling, but decides to argue against the SM and admin's decision, and claims that they didn't say what they said. And when we get angry at him, he acts innocent. Oh, and the SM and admin, instead of punishing him, seem to do nothing. I'm sure they're trying, though. Eventually, I can't take it and explode at him. I talk about how he's entitled for wasting our time, an hour BTW. How his parents must have not told him what a spoiled brat is, and basically said, fluff your family, fluff you, and fluff everything you like and care about. Fluff is the word I always use to replace the curse word that I won't say on here, as 1, it isn't a great word, and 2, I'm a Baptist Christian. While I do admit I probably didn't do the best decision at the same time, I feel like this guy really deserved it. I am posting this fast as I can, so don't mind grammar mistakes or anything of that sort, because I don't want him to change the story to where I and the other players are really the bad ones, and he basically is in my shoes. So AITJ so exploding on this guy after he wasted our time and acted like a complete entitled jerk? I got one of my closest friends grounded for a month. About 5 or so years ago, me and my friends would call each other every day playing games and hanging out. My best friend at the time, we can call him Joe, wanted to hang out one day. So I went over to his house and we played in his pool. After this, Joe told me to call him once I got home. Once I got home, I called him and we played more games while talking. Later this night, me and one of my other friends were texting, and he asked me if we should call. But it was 1:30 a.m., and I was about to fall asleep. He called our group chat, containing me, Joe, and him, and realized that he should have just called me because Joe's mom didn't let Joe call late at night. He hung up immediately, but it was too late. Joe got grounded for a month. Joe's mom thought that it was my fault, but I hadn't did anything. But like any good friend, the friend who called the group chat ghosted us, and I still haven't heard anything from him in years. Me and Joe are still close friends to this day. And when we talk about this, we always wonder what happened to the friend who ghosted us. Am I the jerk? Am I the jerk for not talking to my mom after she assumed that I'm a selfish person? This is happening right now as I'm writing this. My mom just came back after a grocery shopping and just bought the heavy bags up to the 7th floor of our building. The elevator isn't working currently, so she had to carry them all the way up. Now, I'm usually a helpful person, and I like to help people with chores. One time my mom came from a grocery run again and called me to help. The elevator was working then. I was in the shower, so I didn't hear the phone. She came in the apartment angry and started yelling at me. Like, what was I supposed to do? Every other time I helped her with the groceries, and I also apologized to her after the incident. Today I was doing schoolwork and listening to music. No one called. My mom came in with the groceries, and Dee was mad at me for not helping her. She told me she was going to the doctor, so I didn't know she bought groceries. When I asked her why she didn't call, she said, "I didn't call you because I know you weren't going to help me." I asked her why did she think that, and she reminded me of the one time I didn't go. I'm not talking to her right now, but am I the jerk? Am I the jerk for breaking up with my abusive girlfriend the day before our school ended? I, 14F, had a girlfriend we'll call H. Me and her were friends for 8 years before we started dating. She was kind at first, but after a week, she grew cold and stopped talking to me and would only come to me for money or food. It hurt me deeply. She was my first stable relationship. Or so I thought. During classes, she would hit me or raise her hand to hit me. It messed with my head a lot. A girl I once loved was hitting me for no reason. So a few days before school ended, I was talking to my best friend I have been friends with for 12 years wrote on a Lovejoy drawing I was making at the time, telling me how she also noticed the change in my ex's behavior. She wrote, "I don't want to be pushy. H is being rude, bossy, and toxic to you. You deserve better. You should end it if it feels wrong to be with her." I looked at her confused at first, then just nodded my head and said I would talk to her about it. And the next day I talked to H about it, only to be met with a slap, and then a punch after H just started creaming at me and telling me how I was an asshole and a bitch. After that, I just stopped talking to her for the day. And on the last day of school, I told her I wanted to break up with her, and she smiled and nodded before walking away. So I got pissed. I know this was wrong of me, but I went off on her for treating me like shit and hitting, telling her she was an abuser and a bad girlfriend. She started crying. Am I the jerk? Update 1. I just talked to H today, and she had brought her dad with her. And he started yelling at me, "You left my daughter because you're too sensitive and spoiled. You're a horrible person. You dismissed my daughter's feelings because of your trauma in childhood." After he said that, he hit me so hard my nose started bleeding, and H said nothing. I didn't say anything about this to my parents because my parents are very protective and are overthinkers. So I left I alone. This happened at a park, where a pride event was taking place. She embarrassed me in front of random people. I ended up crying and running away. However, my auntie saw what happened and ran over to me, asked if I was okay. I told her everything, and I swear she went red in the face. But H and her father had left already, so my auntie couldn't confront them about this. After she helped me find my parents, who were with my 4 other siblings, she didn't tell them because she knew how my parents were.